Hey there, curious minds! Before starting, put the auto-generated YouTube subtitles in French or your mother tongue to get everything. And slow down or speed up the pace as needed. If you don't have time to watch it, just listen this video as a podcast while doing something else. Now listen and learn English as exploring our world. It's a little bit creepy, a little bit cool, but mostly, it's a fact of life. We're all gonna die someday. See, no matter how rich or poor, famous or unknown, we all share the same fate. Death is the Great Equalizer. But what happens after we take that final breath? What becomes of this amazing, complex machine we call the human body? It's a journey that ultimately connects us all in a way that few other experiences can. For a long time, humans have been fascinated by death. We've created myths and legends, rituals and religions, all trying to make sense of this inevitable part of life. But beyond the stories and beliefs, there's a real physical process that happens to our bodies after we die. This process, my friends, is called decomposition. It's the way nature reclaims what was once living, breaking us down into simpler elements that return to the earth. So buckle up, buttercups, because we're about to embark on a wild ride through the science of death. We're going to explore the nitty-gritty details of what happens to our bodies in those first few moments, hours, and days after we shuffle off this mortal coil. We're talking about the stages of decomposition, the role of bacteria and insects, and even the bizarre ways our environment can affect how our bodies break down. So, if you're brave enough to join me, hit that subscribe button, and let's unravel the mysteries of the human corpse together. All right, folks, picture this. You've breathed your last breath. The curtain falls, the music stops, and the big sleep begins. But here's the thing. Even though your heart's no longer pumping out those sweet, sweet beats, your body's still got a few tricks up its sleeve. See, death isn't like flipping a light switch. It's more like a gradual dimming, a slow fade to black. On a cellular level, things are still happening. Those tiny factories that keep your body running start to shut down, but not all at once. It's like your body sending out a signal, a biological bulletin announcing, "Hey everybody, this is the end of the line." One of the first things you'll notice, or rather wouldn't notice if you were the dearly departed, is a drop in body temperature. This is called algor mortis, or the death chill, for those who prefer dramatic flair. Without that internal heat source, your body starts to cool down, matching the temperature of its surroundings. It's a gradual process, losing about 1 to 1.5 degrees Fahrenheit per hour. So, forensic investigators can actually use this temperature drop to estimate the time of death. But wait, there's more. As if a drop in body temperature wasn't enough, our old friend rigor mortis decides to make an appearance. This is the stiffening of the muscles a few hours after death. It usually starts in the smaller muscles, like your eyelids and jaw, about 2 to 4 hours after death. Now, while rigor mortis is busy turning your body into a human statue, another change is happening, and this one's a real showstopper. Remember that rosy glow you get from a good workout or a first date? Well, that's blood circulation doing its thing. But without a heartbeat, that blood flow comes to a screeching halt. This lack of blood circulation leads to a phenomenon called pallor mortis, or paleness of death. Basically, your skin loses its vibrant hue as blood pools in the lower parts of your body due to gravity. This pooling of blood, also known as livor mortis, creates reddish-purple discolorations in the skin, especially in the areas closest to the ground. Okay, deep breaths, everyone. We've covered the initial changes after death. But now it's time to talk about the main event, decomposition. Now I know what you're thinking. Decomposition, isn't that just a fancy word for rotting? And you wouldn't be wrong. It's nature's way of cleaning up after itself, a grand recycling program for all living things. Now here's the thing about decomposition. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. It's more like a choose-your-own adventure with different factors influencing the speed and style of the breakdown. Factors like temperature, humidity, and even the type of soil you're buried in can all play a role. Warm, moist environments speed things up, while cold, dry conditions can hit the brakes on the decomposition process. It's the circle of life, my friends. and decomposition is the essential spin cycle. Alright, science sleuths, let's zoom in on the cellular level and witness the first stage of decomposition, autolysis, or self-digestion, for those who prefer plain English. Remember those enzymes we talked about earlier? The ones released when cells start to shut down? Well, they're back, and this time, they're not messing around. Without the usual maintenance and repair mechanisms that keep a living body in check, these enzymes start to break down the cells from the inside out. This process usually starts in organs rich in enzymes like the liver and pancreas. As cells break down, they release fluids and gases like methane and hydrogen sulfide. These gases build up inside the body, causing bloating and that unmistakable odor of death. Now, as if autolysis wasn't metal enough, we've got another player entering the decomposition arena: bacteria. These microscopic critters are everywhere, and they're just itching to get their tiny little hands on your decaying body. With the body's defenses down, bacteria from the gut and the environment go to town, feasting on the readily available nutrients released during autolysis. This bacterial feeding frenzy, known as putrefaction, is what really gets the decomposition party started. Putrefaction causes the body to bloat even further, with skin discoloration spreading as blood vessels break down. Okay, brace yourselves because things are about to get real. As putrefaction progresses, soft tissues break down further, eventually liquefying and seeping into the surrounding environment. As soft tissues disappear, the skeleton, that sturdy framework that holds us upright in life, is slowly revealed. This process, called skeletonization, marks the final stage of decomposition. The time it takes to reach skeletonization varies wildly depending on those environmental factors we talked about earlier. In some cases, it can take a few weeks, while in others it can take years or even decades. They're a link to our ancestors, a tangible connection to the past, and a reminder that we're all just a small part of something much, much larger than ourselves. All right, morbid explorers, we've covered the basics of decomposition, but nature loves to throw curveballs. Just when you think you've got this whole death thing figured out, along come some seriously strange and fascinating exceptions to the rule. Certain environments can dramatically alter the decomposition process, sometimes preserving bodies for centuries, sometimes transforming them in ways that would make even the most hardcore horror movie buff squirm. We're talking about extreme dryness, bog bodies, underwater burials, situations where decomposition takes a detour, leading to some truly bizarre and fascinating outcomes. Let's kick things off with everyone's favorite preservation method, mummification. Now, when you hear the word mummy, you probably picture ancient Egyptians, elaborate tombs, and maybe a certain bandaged creature chasing Brendan Fraser through a pyramid. But here's the thing, mummification isn't just an ancient Egyptian practice. It can happen naturally too. And it all comes down to one key ingredient: dryness. In extremely dry environments like deserts or arid caves, the natural moisture in a body evaporates quickly. Without bacteria to break down tissues, the body's skin and organs can be remarkably well preserved, sometimes for centuries or even millennia. All right, folks, get ready for a real treat because things are about to get soapy. In certain environments like bogs, swamps, or even underwater graves, a rather peculiar phenomenon can occur: saponification. Saponification is the process by which body fat is transformed into a grayish-white, waxy substance called adipocere, also known as grave wax. This happens when a body is exposed to moist, alkaline environments with limited oxygen. Under these conditions, the body's natural fats react with water and minerals in the soil or water, creating adipocere. It can preserve facial features, wounds, and even internal organs with remarkable detail, providing valuable information for forensic investigators. We've talked about deserts and bogs, but what about those who find their final resting place beneath the waves? Water, that life-giving elixir, might seem like the ultimate decomposer, but it actually slows things down considerably. The cooler temperatures and reduced oxygen levels in water act like a natural refrigerator, further slowing down decomposition. However, don't think for a second that watery graves are a one-way ticket to preservation. While decomposition might be slower, it still occurs, albeit with a few unique twists. For instance, gases produced during decomposition can cause a body to bloat and float to the surface, becoming a rather unpleasant surprise for unsuspecting boaters. Alright, death enthusiasts, we've explored the natural processes that transform our bodies after death, but humans aren't content to let nature take its course alone. Throughout history, cultures worldwide have developed elaborate rituals and practices to honor their dead and say goodbye in their own unique ways. From somber funerals to joyous celebrations of life, these rituals reflect our beliefs, values, and relationships with death. They provide comfort, closure, and a sense of continuity in the face of loss. They're a testament to the enduring power of human connection, even in death. But these rituals aren't just about emotional closure. They also have a direct impact on the physical journey of the human body after death. The choices we make about how to lay our loved ones to rest, whether it's burial, cremation, or something in between, influence how their bodies decompose and return to the earth. So let's delve into the world of funeral practices and explore how these rituals shape the final chapter of the human body story. From traditional burials to modern eco-friendly alternatives, we'll uncover the science and symbolism behind these age-old practices. For centuries, burial has been the most common way to lay our loved ones to rest. It's a practice steeped in tradition, symbolism, and even a bit of science. The idea of returning to the earth, of our bodies nourishing new life, holds a deep resonance for many cultures. But burial isn't as simple as digging a hole and saying goodbye. The materials used in caskets, the depth of the grave, and the type of soil all influence decomposition. It's like creating a microenvironment for decomposition. Traditional burials with embalmed bodies and sealed caskets slow down decomposition. Embalming fluids preserve the body but inhibit bacteria that break down tissues. Sealed caskets limit oxygen and insects, slowing decomposition. This slower decomposition allows time for grieving families to say their goodbyes. However, embalming fluids and non-biodegradable materials can impact the environment. In contrast to burial's slow and steady approach, cremation offers a more rapid and, some might say, dramatic transformation. It's a process that reduces the body to its basic elements, leaving behind only ashes, bone fragments, and a sense of finality. While cremation has been practiced for millennia, it's gained popularity in recent decades, particularly in urban areas where burial space is limited. It's also seen as a more environmentally friendly option, as it eliminates the need for embalming fluids and caskets. However, cremation isn't without its environmental concerns. The process requires high temperatures, which consume energy and release greenhouse gases. However, advancements in cremation technology, such as the use of biofuels and filtration systems, are helping to minimize its environmental impact. For those seeking even more eco-conscious options, a new wave of funeral practices is emerging. Green burials, which eschew embalming and traditional caskets in favor of biodegradable materials, promote natural decomposition and minimize environmental impact. Other alternatives, such as alkaline hydrolysis, water cremation, and human composting, offer innovative and sustainable ways to return our bodies to the earth. So there you have it, curious comrades. We've journeyed through the strange and fascinating world of what happens to our bodies after death. From the first subtle changes to the grand finale of skeletonization, we've explored the science and the spectacle of decomposition. Our environment can alter this process in weird and wonderful ways, from mummification's dry spell to saponification's soapy surprise. Death, while often feared and misunderstood, is a natural part of life's grand cycle. It's the ultimate equalizer connecting us all. Our time on this planet is precious, and our bodies eventually return to the earth. Understanding this can be unsettling, even creepy, but also liberating. It can free us from fear and superstition, allowing us to approach death with curiosity and acceptance. So the next time you see a wilting flower or a fallen leaf, remember it's a transformation, a return to the earth, a promise of new life. Embrace the inevitable, knowing your body will become part of something larger.